Today's session. So this was our last class where I was trying to basically talk about the system navigation, like how we are going to be working on SAP application. So there are going to be three different servers on which we try to work. One on the name of development, second quality, and third one we name it as production over here. And apart from that, I was trying to give you an information like how we are going to be logging into SAP, the front end application name, which we name it as easy access, and this will be under the control of end users who will be going for recording of day-to-day activities over here. Whereas backend application name is what we name it as display IMG, which is going to be under the control of consultants, where we try to build the application based on the business requirements. And apart from that, we were trying to focus on understanding the screen behavior in ECC and S4 HANA. So in S4 HANA, you're going to be having two front ends on the name of Easy Access and Fiori User Interface. So on Easy Access and Fiori, it is going to be end user who is going to be working. Whereas backend application is going to be under the control of consultants, and we will be having an access to work with IMG screen. So this is what I was trying to basically explain in the last class. Now, in today's session, we try to work out with the chapters related to this sales and distribution module. And in this particular sales and distribution, to run the life cycle of SD, to run the sales life cycle, there are going to be a lot of things we are going to be exploring it. So I'm just trying to give once again a proper information of what all activities we try to perform and we try to continue from there. So here we are going to be working out with the core sales process. Now, when we try to talk about this core sales process, there are going to be different business scenarios. We try to map it, a number of business process, we try to work it out. Like for example, this OTC is going to be an example of business process. Then we have QTC functionality. We have contracts, free of charge. Then we are going to be having a concept on the name of credit note, debit note. These are all going to be examples of your business process. We are going to be exploring it. Whereas when you try to talk about the scenarios, we have free goods functionalities. We have free goods, cross-selling. Then we have pricing. So partner determinations. These are all going to be some examples of scenarios what we try to map it out. So this is what we try to work and execute on SAP application. We work with business process and business scenarios. And apart from that, we try to work out with the integration life cycle, integration of SD with other modules. Like for example, we try to work SD with MM. We try to work with SD with FICO. We try to work with SD with production planning, SD with LE module, and SD with ABAP integration. To run our life cycle, this particular skill set is very much required. And then we try to complete the life cycle. So sales life cycle will be completed with that. So where I was trying to mention in the past, the process will be starting with inquiry. We convert that inquiry into a quotation document. After we offer a quotation, if customer is happy with that particular product price and the service offered, he will be placing an order. And for that order, we are going to be delivering the products. And once delivery has been done, we try to work out with the billing, and that billing document need to be posted to the finance department, where we try to create an accounts document. So with reference to that accounts document, we go for collection of the payment, which we name it as incoming payments. This is what we are going to be running on SAP application. We work with all these particular steps over here: inquiry, quotation, order, delivery, billing, accounts document, and closing with incoming payments over here. Just give me a second, guys. Now, to run this particular functionality on SAP, there are going to be a lot of things we are going to be exploring it. And as a part of it, the first thing we try to work is going to be enterprise structure. This is going to be the first thing we try to work out with: enterprise structure, or we can call it as organization structure as well. We are going to be calling it as organizational structure, and this organization structure is going to be made up of different organizational units. So we need to understand the functionality of this organizational units, how it works, so that we can create our sales structure and we try to work on SAP application. So today we try to basically understand the definitions of different terminologies used in this enterprise structure. So where we try to map domain terminology on one side, or in a layman terminology, how a particular organizational unit is going to be addressed, and how we are going to be mapping that particular thing in SAP. Okay. Now, when we try to talk about this domain terminology, now see, the first term we try to call it as a client, or you call it as business, or you can call it as a company. Okay, company which want to use SAP, we are going to be calling it as client in SAP, or you can call it as a company. This is the terminology which will be used. So there are a lot of manufacturing companies. There are a lot of manufacturing companies, trading companies, and service-oriented companies which are using SAP application for their business. So all these companies we are going to be calling it as client or a company in SAP term, and it is going to be responsible for allocation of budget. It's going to be responsible for allocation of budget for SAP implementation. So how much amount need to be spent on SAP? Client is the one who will be taking the responsibility of it. They are going to be responsible for allocation of budget. How much amount need to be spent on SAP application, they decide it. And they are going to be the decision makers. They are going to be the decision makers. Whatever decision is required for the business, they take care of it. If they are not happy with the SAP performance at any point of time, they can even go for canceling the project as well. So this is one thing you need to know when you work with the client. And it is going to be called as highest level in enterprise structure. We are going to be calling them as an highest level in enterprise structure because of the decision making. Now, I'm trying to take one example over here on the name of Samsung. Now, when we talk about Samsung, it's an electronic based manufacturing company which run the business across the globe. So they run the business in UK, in USA, in India, in Australia, in Gulf location. At different locations, they run the business. So currency of transaction is going to be different at different geographical location. Products sold are going to be different. Revenue generation will be different. Production units are going to be different. So based on this geographical location, if you want to map the functionality, you can. Because if you want to run the business in any particular country, you need to get the permission from the government. Okay, so each geographical location where you want to run the business, we can map it as a company code. This is one style of how we are going to be mapping it. Or second thing, now for example, if you try to take Reliance company, now Reliance is running multiple business, not single business. One on the name of Reliance Jio, and they are into film industry, they are into insurance sector, they are into retail sector, then FMCG, oil and gas. Like this, Reliance is running multiple business. So investment on each and every business is not going to be same. Revenue generation will be not same. Profit and loss will be not same. Sales process will be not same. For that reason, each and every business of a company, we try to map it as a company code. Okay, and this company code is going to be providing the information related to balance sheet, which is nothing but profit and loss statement. Profit and loss statement. So how much revenue we are going to be making in a financial year, that information will be updated against company code level. So companies are going to be making sure each and every transaction is going to be recorded on SAP platform. Incoming payments and outgoing payments. So they record each and every transaction, account receivables and account payables. If you keep a record of each and every transaction, we can go for preparing balance sheet and we can come to know whether the company is in profit or loss for a particular financial year. So this is how we are going to be mapping it. So one company can run multiple business. So each business we map it as a company code. Or if one company is running the business at different geographical location, based on this geographical location, you can map it as a company code. Now, who will be responsible to map this particular organizational units in in SAP? It is going to be FI consultant who will be doing that. So you are not going to be finding all activities will be done by a single consultant. You're going to be having different consultants performing different roles. So FI consultant will be responsible for creation of company and company code. This is one thing you need to be very much aware of. Sales team will be not working with it. Sales team will be using this particular data to map the functionalities. Now in the same way, this we try to call it as an highest level. Each module is going to be having one organizational unit as in highest level. So in FI, company code is going to be the highest level. So you're going to be having company as the highest level in enterprise structure. In finance module, it is going to be company code. Then comes the next one, company's factors. Company's factors, production units or manufacturing units, where your products are going to be getting manufactured. That location is what we try to call it as plant. This is a naming convention. Companies, factories, production units, manufacturing units in SAP, we are going to be naming it as a plant. So plant is a place where inventory management is going to be carried out. When we talk about inventory management, we maintain the stock levels. We maintain stock levels. It can be any type of material, raw material, semi-finished, finished product. We try to store all the products. So plant is a location where we try to store the material. And apart from that, we are going to be using this particular location for production as well, where I'm going to be installing all the equipment, machinery to manufacture the product. So place where stock will be stored, place where production activities will be done, we name it as a plant. And this plant creation is going to be part of consultant job role. If company is having 4 plants situated at different location, all that plant creation is going to be taken care by department on SAP platform. So please remember, factors, production units, manufacturing units, we try to map it as plant in SAP. And we use this particular space for storage and for manufacturing. And this plant, we try to call it as highest level in material management in MM. So this is one thing you need to know when you deal with the plant. And apart from that, in the plant, you're going to be finding storage locations. In the plant, you're going to be finding storage location which will be used for storage. The storage locations are maintained in the plant for storing the product. For storing the products. Because in the plant, you're going to be having different types of materials which we are going to be using it for manufacturing. There are going to be raw materials, semi-finish, finished product. Then we have scrap products. Then we have packaging materials, fast moving products. Like this, in a plant, we can have number of storage locations. We can have number of storage location, which is going to be used for storing different types of materials. So always these storage locations are maintained. Storage locations are maintained in the plant for storing different types of materials. And the reason why we try to maintain so many storage locations for different reasons. One, for report generation. So how much stock is available in the inventory for a particular material, I can have that particular information. And second reason, for stock rotation functionality. This is going to be used for stock rotation. So we always try to work with an activity called as FIFO method, first in, first out. Product which has been manufactured first will be sold first. Product which has been manufactured later will be sold later. For stock rotation functionality also, we try to make sure there are going to be multiple storage locations which are going to be maintained in the plant. Okay, these are the advantages you get by maintaining multiple storage location in the plant. Now, once you know these particular terms, the difference between plant and the storage locations, then we have one more organizational unit, which is going to be called as godowns. Company godowns, warehouses. In SAP, we are going to be calling it as a depot. Depot is going to be the place where inventory management activity is going to be performed. There will be no production. There will be no production. No production activities are going to be carried out. We are not going to be doing any kind of manufacturing. We just use this particular place for storing the product. We don't do any kind of manufacturing. No machinery, no equipment will be installed for doing any kind of manufacturing. We use this particular location purely for storage. So company godowns, warehouses, everything, we try to map it as a depot. This is one thing you need to remember. You need to know the difference between a plant and a depot. For establishing a plant, we require permissions from the government. I need to get subsidiaries. I need to get a lot of permissions for establishing a plant. Whereas for depot, not that many permissions. And again, this plant, storage location, depot creation is going to be part of your consultant activity itself. And the reason why we are going to be learning these particular things, plant, storage location, and depot, why we are trying to learn it, to look into a topic called as stock transfers. We are going to be moving the stock from one location to another location. We manufacture the product in the plant and we try to move that particular products to our depot. And from depot, we deliver the stock to the customer. We manufacture the product at one location, transfer it to our depot. From depot, we try to pick the material and we issue it. That is the activity we try to perform. And to perform the stock transfer functionalities, it is basically integration of SD, MM with SD. For that reason, we are trying to learn this terminology. From where to where the product is going to be getting transferred. So if you are running shortage of stock at one location, we try to transfer the stock from another location. So that is an activity what we try to work it out, stock transfers. And there are going to be multiple scenarios involved in this stock transfer to explore. So we work with this particular activity. Now, once you have this particular terminologies, a good understanding, then comes the next one. We try to talk about sales now. So we are going to be having a sales department. So company sales department is what in SAP terms, we are going to be calling it as sales organization. Company sales department is what in SAP, we are going to be calling it as sales organization. What is the functionality of the sales org? The sales org is going to be responsible for selling the products. Responsible for selling the products. Okay, it is going to be responsible for selling the products. It is going to be responsible for providing the support. Provide a service. And it is also going to be responsible for distribution process, making sure the product is going to be delivered to the customer on time. So it's going to be taking care of different things. Sales org will be responsible for selling. It will be responsible to provide service, and it will be responsible for distribution process as well, making sure the product is going to be delivered to the customer on time. So sales org is going to be playing a very important role in a business. If company need to sell any particular product, we require a sales organization. An LC consultant is going to be responsible for mapping a sales organization of a business. Now, how many sales organizations we can have means multiple. There is no restriction that we need to have only one sales org. We can have multiple sales organization. Now, let's say I'm going to be having two sales organization. One sales org is going to be taking care of domestic sales, and one is going to be taking care of foreign trade. I'm just taking this one as an example. So in India, I'm going to be having two sales org. One will be taking care of the entire sales process in India, and another sales org will be taking care of foreign trade. Or second way, I'm going to be dividing the total sales in India into four zones: North Zone, West Zone, East Zone, and South Zone. Based on zone specific, I can have multiple sales organizations maintained, which is going to be covering that particular geographical location only. Okay, this is one thing you need to be aware of. So business can have multiple sales organization which will be used for selling their products. And the sales org will be responsible for selling the products to the customers. And we are going to be categorizing them. We are going to be categorizing the customers. We are going to be dividing them into zones or a particular group. We are going to be grouping them. So one set of customers, we name them as wholesaler. One set of customer as a retailer. Another set of customer as stockist. Distributors. Bulk buyers. Like that, we are going to be categorizing the customers, because for all the customers, selling price, discount, payment terms, delivery methods will be getting different. For that reason, we are going to be categorizing the customer on these particular terminologies. So these things in SAP, we try to name it as distribution channel. So when we talk about this distribution channel, this is nothing but channel through which saleable material reaches the customer. Saleable material reaches the customer. We are going to be calling it as distribution channel. This is one thing you need to be aware of as well when you work on the system. So you're going to be having different groups of customers. We are going to be categorizing them on the term distribution channel. So channel through which saleable material will be reaching. And again, these distribution channels are going to be created by SD department. So as an SD consultant, you're going to be responsible for creation of it. Okay. And to these customers, we are going to be selling product lines. So every company will be having their own products which they want to select. If you try to take an example of an LG company, now LG is trying to sell multiple group of materials, like for example, mobiles, TV, microwaves. Then we have refrigerators, washing machines. So like this, LG is trying to sell different range of products over here. So these product lines are what in SAP terms we name it as division. So this division is nothing but we call it as group of collection of products. Group of collection of products, we are going to be calling it as division over here. Group of collection of products, we are going to be calling it as division. So every company will be having their own set of products which need to be offered. So we map and call it as a division. Each group, we name it as a division. So these divisions creation is going to be part of MM in few projects. In few, it is going to be SD consultant who will be having the access to create it. And these particular products can be further divided as well. Now, for example, if you have TV, now TV, again, you're going to be having different segments in that. We have OLED technology, laser technology, then we have ultra high definition TVs, LED TVs, like this, we have different variants in that. These things are going to be mapped into SAP on the term material groups. We are going to be calling them as material groups. These material groups are what we try to call it as subdivision. Subdivision of division, we try to call it as material groups. Okay. So subdivision of a division, we try to call it as material group. TV, we call it as a division. In TV, you're going to be having different groups. So we call it as material groups. And the reason why we try to create this material groups for product hierarchy, or we can use this particular information to offer sale on particular group of material. If company has want to offer discount only on a particular group of materials, we can take the help of material groups. Now, for example, if customer is placing an order for this material, ultra high definition TVs, we are going to be offering 50% discount. We start place an order on OLED, laser technology or LED, we're not going to be offering any kind of discount. Discount will be applicable only on ultra high definition variant, not on different materials or material groups. So this material groups are going to be created by MM, but sales will be using it to map the pricing functionality if required. So this is how we are going to be categorizing it. And to sell the products to the customers, so company need to have or deploy sales team. We are going to be having sales team. So company sales team who will be responsible for selling the product. we are going to be mapping and calling them as sales group. This is a terminology we are going to be using. Sales group. You're going to be having different groups. Each group is going to be responsible for selling a particular range of product. Each group will be not selling all products. So one group will be taking care of selling TVs, one group selling mobiles, another group laptops, another group will be selling off your refrigerators, another group will be taking care of selling only your washing machines. Like that, we are going to be having groups. Each group will be responsible for selling a particular range of products. Or you can map them as sales area manager. One group will be targeting one particular area, like one group will be taking care of north zone, one group south zone, another group west zone or east zone. We can have it, or based on states or based on cities. So a group of people will be responsible to sell the company product in that geographical location. For example, Hyderabad region will be covered by one person. Then we have another sales area manager who will be selling the products in AP location. So to cover a particular geographical location, you're going to be having different groups. That sales team is what we name them as sales group. And in this sales groups, you're going to be finding salespersons working, where the salesperson is going to be the one who will be responsible for selling the product. Salespersons will be responsible for selling the product of the business. So creation of the sales group is going to be part of your SD consultant job role. Creation of salespersons is going to be part of your HR department. HR department, because salespersons, it is going to be employee master data. So we try to name it as a master data over here. So salesperson master data maintenance will be taken care by the HR team. They create it as a salespersons in SAP, and they will be responsible for selling the products. That's how it is going to be mapped up. So these are all the terminologies what you need to know when you try to talk in sales and distribution. What you mean by a sales arc? What is the functionality of it? Distribution channel. We have divisions. We have material groups, sales groups, salespersons. And apart from this, you're going to be finding in a business a purchase department as well. You're going to be finding a purchase department. Now, this purchase department is going to be responsible for purchasing the stock. Like how we have a sales team who will be responsible for selling the product. In a business, you're going to be having purchase department which will be responsible for purchasing the stock. And that purchase department is what we are going to be calling it as purchase organization. We are going to be calling it as a purchase org, where this purchase org is going to be responsible for purchasing the stock. Purchase the stock required for the business. Now, whatever stock is required, this purchase org will be taking care of it. Okay, so if sales team require any stock, they need to update that information to the purchase team, and the purchase team will be doing the purchasing activity. In the same way, sales org will be having the access only for selling the product. If they require any stock, they need to update it to the purchase department. If purchase department need to sell any stock, they don't have the access. They need to update that information to the sales team, and sales team will be selling the product. So this will be created by consultants. Purchase org functionality is going to be part of your job role. There's one thing you need to be aware of. And the reason we work with this purchase organization functionality for SD integration area. And we have one more organizational unit on the name of credit control area. It's going to be the next one. And it is going to be part of your finance module, credit control area. And this particular department will be fixing up the credit limits. Fix up the credit limit of the customer. Up to what value customer can take the products on credit from the business. So business will be fixing up whether they can take the product up to a value of 10 lakhs or 5 lakhs or 2 lakhs or 50,000. They try to fix it up. So this is the department which will be fixing up the credit limits. And this credit limit is going to be fixed on different parameters. So one is going to be based on credit score, based on payment history, customer payment history, and based on number of transactions. How many number of transactions customer is trying to perform in a month or in a week. For every quarterly, company will be checking their history, and it will be deciding up to what value customer can take the product on credit from the company. So the reason we try to work it out, we are going to be looking into an activity called as credit management, which is going to be integration of SD with FI. So finance team is going to be fixing up the of the customer. And in case if credit limit of the customer is getting exceeded, we need to know at how many levels we need to block the customer. For blockage functionality, it's going to be an integration concept. And this credit control area creation is going to be part of your FI consultants. They try to deal with this one. Credit control area. Now, once you have this particular knowledge, we have one more organizational unit on the name of controlling area. These are going to be two different terms. Don't get confused with credit control area and controlling area. Credit control area, they fix up the credit limit, whereas controlling area, they try to fix up the product. They will be working with an activity called as product costing. When we talk about product costing, they fix up the price. Fix up the price of the product. At what price we need to sell the product in the market, that price will be fixed by the controlling department. Product costing is what we try to call it as. So what the CO team is going to be doing, they work with MM to know what is the cost involved in purchasing the raw material. We call it as raw material costing. CO team is going to be working with the production department to know what is the cost involved in manufacturing the product. CO team is going to be working with SD department to know what is the cost involved in promoting the product. So based on these parameters, they try to fix up the price, which we try to call it as product costing. So they fix up the price of the product. It is not going to be the sales team who will be fixing up the price. It is going to be the controlling department which try to fix up the price of the product. Both manufacturing cost and selling price, everything will be fixed by this particular controlling department. So we have CO consultant who will be responsible for creation of this controlling area. In FICO, we have CO module which will be handling this particular activity. And the last and final one, loading and unloading points. So where your stock will be loaded and unloaded. This loading and unloading points are what in SAP terms we are going to be calling it as shipping points, where your trucks come and wait for loading and unloading the stock used for loading and unloading the products. That activity is what we try to call it as shipping points, used for loading and unloading the products. So here you're going to be finding we use this particular shipping point to perform GR, where this GR stands for goods receipt. We are going to be receiving the stock, and we are going to be using it for GI, for goods issue. for issuing of the stock. This is nothing but dispatch. So when you dispatch, when you receive an order, that means when transaction is done between customer and the company, customer will place an order to the company and company will be delivering the stock to the customer. In that particular case, we are going to be using this particular shipping point for delivery. So goods issue is going to be part of your shipping points. Dispatch sales team is going to be handling it. And when you receive the stock, when you purchase, when transaction is done between company and the vendor. So company is going to be placing an order to the vendor and vendor will be supplying the product. So MM team will be working out with goods receipt. So you need to know the difference. We use it for dispatching the stock and for receiving the stock. And this particular shipping point creation is going to be part of your SD department, or you're going to be finding LE consultants dealing with that. So these are all going to be the different organizational units we require if you want to work with the life cycle of sales. Without these organizational units, we cannot run anything. And you can find it's not going to be a single consultant who will be preparing all of it. We have different consultants who need to perform different activities. And this is what we are going to be practically working it out. So where I'm going to be taking one business model, I try to explain the business organizational units functionality, how it need to be created on SAP application from different areas. We don't only focus related to SD, we focus related to FI, CO, MM, organizational units. We create it, we map it, and we start running our sales transactions. So this is what I wanted to do it up, giving you an explanation related to the terminologies we need to understand in enterprise structure. So are these particular terms are clear, or you have any queries, please? Did I miss anything over here in the explanation of it? Plant
Sales office is not that, sir.
relocation, depot, sales, stock, distribution, channel, sales. I missed one on the name of sales office. That's going to be one more. Let me try to put down that one as well. Now we have branch offices. So companies, branch offices. So companies, branch office, company stores, outlets where they try to sell the products. That we try to map it as sales office. There's a terminology used. Company stores, outlet, branch offices, we name it as sales office, which is nothing but point of contact. Point of contact between customer and the company. So as a customer, if you want to purchase any particular company product, so company will be having their stores where you can physically go, check the product, get to know the functionality of it, and if you are interested, do the price negotiations and go for placing an order. So companies, stores, outlets, we map it as sales office, and again, it is going to be part of your SD consultant who will be doing that. We are going to be responsible for it. So these are the things what you need to know. Apart from that, everything has been put down over here. In case if any other terminologies need to be explained. So from Monday, when we start practically on the application, I'm going to be giving that particular explanation and we try to jump on the system as well.